Good evening. They want $400 to do the roof of this car, and it's just a little spot here that I kind of sanded down. I just took the loose peeling paint, chipped it off, and I kind of just scraped it, get as much rust off. I heard that you can vinegar and water, a solution of vinegar and water, 3 parts vinegar and 1 part water. So I just mixed a little vial of it right here. I'm going to pour that on top and let's see if it works. I never did this before. And then I'm going to paint it and save myself $400 plus. So there, I just poured it on there. I'm going to let it soak for about an hour. I'm going to come back. Okay, let's see what it did. I'm going to just clean it off. It's become shiny, isn't it? Yeah, next time. I'm going to do it again and I'm going to leave it on longer. It did pretty good, but I didn't leave it on very long. I just left it on for 10 minutes. So here I got another solution of vinegar and water. 3 parts vinegar, 1 part water. And I'm going to leave it on for like a couple hours this time. I'm going to pour it on. Alright. Shouldn't hurt the paint, and we'll come back in a couple hours. Well, let's see what happened. It's been an hour. Yeah, the vinegar worked pretty good, but I'm going to have to sand it because of the slope of the roof. I couldn't keep it on there. It has to be soaked in it. So I'm going to just sand it now and get more of the rust off. I'm sanding it with 80 grit and then 60 grit. Get as much rust off as you can. That's pretty good right now. I'm going to tape it up and paint it. And this is going to save me over $400. Remember, this is just a temporary patch, and it can be redone every couple of years if it rusts more. So I just cut around this newspaper here, and then I taped around the spot where I'm going to paint. And just going to spray it now. A lot of people use primer and all that stuff. You can do that if you want a perfect job. I'm just going to use this trim-clad rust paint, which you can paint right over rust. And if it rusts again, I can just redo it next year. You spray it in thin coats, and then you can put thicker coats, and then later you can wet sand and make it smoother. So now we're going to try to wet sand the spot here. What you want to do is put a little bit of soapy water, and I got some 800 grit and 1000 grit sandpaper in here, and we're going to smooth out that spot. So you want to keep the spot nice and wet, and don't press hard, just go smoothly over the spot. Try to get as many lines out as you can with the 800 grit, and keep wetting it. And then with the 1000 grit. It's better to use a sanding block. And after this, we're going to buff it with polishing compound. So keep it wet as you're sanding, and don't press, and make sure you're not in direct sunlight. And better to use a sanding block, like I said. I'm just going to use my hand because I don't really want that professional of a job. But the better you are at it, the better it's going to look. The more professional I want to do it. I didn't add any Bondo to make it smooth. You want to add some Bondo and smooth out the rust spot that that was there. It's even better. So just gently going over and over and over the spot. Try to get as many lines as you can. This is with the 1000 grit sandpaper. You're probably going to be better off with a higher grit, like 2000. Even better. So you work your way up to that. Now the final step is to put some polishing compound. Got some turtle wax polishing compound here. And again, don't do it in direct sunlight. I'm going to get all the scratches out and all that stuff and polish it up. And then it should look just as new. And if it's still looking rough, just keep buffing it. Using a buffer is better. Using your hand is a little bit more work. And it should look as good as new. And then after that, you're going to wax it. So I picked up some 2000 grit sandpaper here. Make sure everything's nice and wet. And now do the same thing. And don't press. Very lightly. Go over your... And fold it like this. 3 ways. It's better to fold it like that. And go very lightly. So keep adding water when it dries and make sure it doesn't get very dry. And keep adding water and soapy water. And keep flipping the sandpaper to a fresh side. If you feel that it's getting stuck, it's time to put water. And if it's still not coming smooth, you gotta use some 3000 grit sandpaper. So put some more polishing compound and get all the little streaks out until it's a clear finish. You get the idea. This isn't the best job. It's a do-it-yourself. I don't have a machine to buff it out. But you know what? I'm happy with it. So you can use some 3000 grit sandpaper and do the same process, then some polishing compound, and then you can wax. And you get it as nice as you can. Mine, I'm not too concerned about the look of it, but it's a good cheap way to do it yourself. So I'm pretty happy with it. I know there's some bumps. I didn't use Bondo and stuff. You can get as detailed as you want, make it as smooth as you want. But that's the process. Now I'm just going to do some waxing. Did a bit of turtle wax here. And I'm just going to wax the whole spot and give it some more protection. So like I said, you can spend as much as you want, but I think it did a pretty good job just by hand. And so until next time, just wax it